The courtroom was moving faster than it should have. Everything felt automatic, like everyone already knew what was going to happen. Words were being spoken, written down, accepted, and moved past. No one was questioning the pace because courtrooms are designed to keep going forward, not to slow down. At the defense table sat the defendant, wearing an orange jumpsuit. He wasn't looking at the jury. He wasn't looking at the judge. He was listening. Across the room, the court reporter's fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. The steady clicking blended into the background, almost unnoticed. Every sentence, every pause, every word spoken in that room was being captured exactly as it happened. That's when the typing stopped. Not gradually, not naturally. It stopped all at once. At first, no one reacted. The judge was focused on the discussion. The prosecutor was reading from his notes. But silence seeps in differently than sound. It makes people uncomfortable before they understand why. The reporter lifted her hands from the keyboard and looked up. In a quiet but firm voice, she said, "Your Honor, that's not what was said." The room froze. Court reporters don't interrupt proceedings. They don't clarify. They don't correct. Their role is to record, not to participate. So when she spoke, everyone immediately understood something was wrong. The judge looked down at her, surprised but attentive. "What do you mean?" he asked. She swallowed once, then spoke again. The last statement was read incorrectly. At the defense table, the defendant lifted his head. His voice was calm when he spoke, steady and controlled. "You skipped the last sentence." The prosecutor stiffened instantly, his body going rigid as if the air had suddenly changed pressure. The judge leaned forward, his tone sharp now. "Reporter," he said, read back the exact words. She did. Slowly, carefully, exactly as they had been spoken, including the sentence that had been skipped. The reaction was immediate. Jurors leaned forward without realizing it. The defense attorney's posture changed completely. The prosecutor stopped moving, stopped flipping pages, stopped breathing normally. That single sentence changed the meaning of everything. Without it, the statement sounded damaging. With it, the context shifted in a way that couldn't be ignored. The judge raised his hand, stopping any reaction before it grew louder. He looked directly at the reporter. "Was that sentence spoken clearly?" "Yes, Your Honor." "And it was recorded accurately?" "Yes." "And it was omitted when read aloud?" "Yes." The judge leaned back slowly, exhaling through his nose. Mistakes happen in court, but mistakes like this don't just affect paperwork, they affect lives. The prosecutor tried to speak, but the judge stopped him with a raised hand. "The record matters," the judge said firmly. "If the record is altered, even unintentionally, the integrity of this process is compromised." The defendant remained still. He wasn't smiling, he wasn't relieved, he was focused, because he understood something most people never think about. In court, the truth rarely disappears loudly. It disappears quietly. A skipped sentence, a misread line, a moment no one thinks to question. If the reporter hadn't stopped the court, no one would have known. The judge instructed the jury to disregard the earlier version of the statement and consider only what had been accurately recorded. That instruction alone changed the weight of the evidence. When the session finally ended, people spoke quietly in the hallway. Some called it a small mistake. Others knew it almost decided the case the wrong way. The defendant was escorted out, posture steady, eyes forward, because sometimes justice doesn't arrive with shouting or drama. Sometimes it arrives when someone simply says, "That's not what was said."